venturing for Yeti Food. And I'm very excited actually to introduce this new opportunity that we have. We're about to pilot this year to you all. It's called the Proof Concept Co-Financing Instrument. And what we are looking to do here is to support startup corporate collaborations. We've seen a lot already happening in the past 2 years since I'm at Yeti Food and really focusing on the role of promoting startup corporate collaborations. We see, for example, lots of sample creation, field testing, efficiency tests, property assessments. So a lot of different, trials that are needed in the food system that also sets it apart maybe a bit from other industries, where I believe that there's also maybe this extra push needed to de-risk collaboration in agri-food. And so Yeti Food is looking to promote those a bit more moving forward. And we are looking to financially de-risk, especially projects with a project scope of less than 100,000 euros in total costs. And just to give you the headlines, so looking to promote especially initiatives, projects, startups that are very close to market, and where we can give really that extra push maybe on the corporate level to engage, to collaborate. And so we have set aside 100,000 euros as a grant, that is available for these proof of concepts and small pilot projects. As I said, it's a tool to financially de-risk it, but not covering all the costs. But we are looking to keep this also as simple as possible. That means for us, you as a startup are the sole beneficiary of that grant. So there's no consortium building. We are not building projects together with like big consortia, and there are like, I know that in Horizon Europe there are all these different requirements that you need to have organizations from other countries involved, so forth, so forth. So that's not the purpose of this call. It's really you as a startup are the sole beneficiary. There's also no success sharing mechanism that you may know, for example, from other Yeti Food open calls. For example, there's something that we call success fees, payback, revenue-based financing, for example, right? So none of that, and it's also not an investment scheme. So you're not giving up grant for equity, So again, it's 100% grant, and we are able to do it because on the other hand, on the other side, we expect you to bring a committed corporate client, So that means there is somebody who is willing to collaborate with you and that is willing to cover 60% of the total project costs. And that will be the amount that EIT Food will basically invoice your counterpart for. Introducing it step by step, that you understand how it works. So we would typically engage already before your actual application in a call. That is ideally already with you and your prospective client. We would discuss together the terms and conditions, that everybody's aware of what is needed from their respective side. Then there is obviously an application portal as well that you may already know. It's called myeitfood.eu. I will also explain in a second in detail how applications work. After you submit your application, there will be a panel of evaluators. So 2 independents and 1 internal evaluator that will sit together and evaluate each application based on 3 criteria. 1 is commercial viability, excellence, and impact. After the evaluators have made their assessments, these will be pooled, and all the applications that met the minimum quality threshold is, I think, 3.5 out of a scale of 5. Plus there has to be still funding available, will be awarded the grant. In parallel, we would then start contracting, meaning you would get the sub-grant agreement to sign and to review. And in parallel, your corporate client will also need to sign a service agreement with EIT Food and will be invoiced for 60% of the project costs. After your project is completed, we would require a KPI evidence. In this case, for this call, it is simple invoice for what we call marketed innovations. That's the official title of the KPI. So you would basically send us an invoice that you have successfully sold or contracted a client, sold to a client or contracted a client, and have been able to make a sale of your product or service that is then worth a minimum of 10,000 euros. And that's the KPI evidence we request. From a corporate side, the process looks a bit different, right? So they would participate in this initial call, in this expression of interest. They would sign with EIT Food the service agreement, or if they are already working with us, a simple addendum of their existing agreement. So it's, I think, 11 pages. And if they are already working with us, it's just an additional one-pager with us. The draft template, you will also find it on the core website. And as a next step, they would just need to pay the invoice of the 60% of the project costs. And we would basically hand 100% of the project costs to you as a grant. And that's all taken care of within 30 days. What's very important is EIT Food will also not become part of any project, right? So we are not entering a consortium agreement here with you. All the negotiations, all the contract discussions will remain between you and your corporate client. And they are basically totally separate from EIT Food. The only part where EIT Food will be involved in is the actual payment process, right? Because we will send the invoice for 60% of the project costs to your prospective client, and we will send you 100% of the costs as a grant. After all the signatures are in place. I've also mapped out quickly like an overview. So the official call deadline will be end of November as the final deadline, but we will have several cutoff dates in the meantime. So that means the first time we will look at applications will be actually end of June. And there will be already the first projects probably awarded within the first 2 weeks of July. So that will be the earliest starting date, actually. So if you have a corporate client, if the corporate client is happy to participate in this in the proof concept co-financing instrument, and they sign the agreement with us, you submit the application, it's evaluated positively by the evaluators, you will be notified second week of July. That's the earliest date. And since starting second week of July, all costs will be eligible under the scheme. Yeah? So although you might not have already signed the subgrant agreement, or the corporate might not even have signed the service agreement with us, that's irrelevant, but all the costs are already eligible starting from that point onwards, as soon as you will have the official letter of acceptance of your proposal. And after the end of each month, these evaluator panels will evaluate what has been submitted, and the maximum allocation to this call is 2 million. So it means we can probably have at least 20 projects, I estimate even more, funded under the scheme. The application has to be submitted via myeitfood.eu. So I will explain in a second how that works. And if there are questions or if there are any uncertainties or clarifications needed, here's also my email, and I recommend have, if you're interested, to schedule a call with me. And yeah, happy to discuss the specific nature of your specific project that you have in mind, and together with a bigger company. So how does it work to submit an application? You would go to myeatfood.eu, and what you will find here is already the form to put in your login details and your password. If you have already applied to a EAT food program or call or whatsoever, you should already have it. If not, on the bottom you can also register, and if you have forgot your password, you can obviously request a new one. Once you sign in, congratulations, this is like the landing page that you will see next. And important, you click on the top left corner on open calls, then you will see all the open calls that are currently available at EAT Food. One of those calls that you will see is the proof of concept co-financing instrument. Once you click on there, you will see the landing page for the call, again, the call description. And on the top right corner, you can create an application. If you go to create an application, you are required to put a short description in there. It's, I think, 1 or 2 sentences max, not more. And if you have not yet seen it, on the top right, you have the application form itself that you also need to fill before you are able to submit your proposal. And that's what you see on the top right corner once you're done with filling all the information. So you would put in a short description of what you have in mind as a project, and then move forward to the application form. It's kept intentionally short and concise, so there are just the agreements that we need to have. One is you accept the privacy policy that we can contact you from EAT Food side regarding the call and how we basically manage your data. And the second one, you need to accept the call guidelines. That's the second part. Only if those two are accepted, you can basically submit. There are the basic info we need. What's the organizational legal name, your address, and your PIC number. There is additional guidance here if you have never participated in a Horizon Europe call, what it is and how to request it. It can take a bit of time. That's why I would recommend to request this as early as possible if you have not done so. There is the main contact person also to fill in, name, organization, email. Again, nothing crazy. And in the last bit of the application form, we request 4 kinds of information. One is we need a written confirmation of your corporate client that they are okay with the terms and conditions of the present call. So that's a must-have. You cannot submit without having a committed corporate counterpart. That's one. Second, we need like a project plan, project description, where you can put some more information about what you have in mind. Is it an efficiency test, field trial? What are you hoping to accomplish? What are potential risks? What are the opportunities if you make that process step successful? What would be the next steps there? Next, we also request a project budget. There is also a template on the eatfood.eu call website for it that you need to upload. And this budget cannot exceed 100,000 euros because that's the maximum amount we will grant as part of this funding scheme. And finally, a pitch deck. And this is the information we need from you to make the assessment, what you're planning to do. Has this a realistic outlook for success? And if you have provided the information, that's actually the end of the application form. And you would go back up to the top of the page and submit your proposal if you are happy with all that you put there. Once submitted, there is no further. You will probably be notified by email, and you can still change parts of the of your data, especially, for example, if contact information changes. So I would recommend to update this regularly. And the second one is the supporting files, if they are really needed, not sure, but if you have, I don't know, like an update on your business plan or something, you can also put this here without really for the need to opening up the application itself. So that's the process. As I said, the official deadline or the final deadline for this call is end of November, but you will have cutoff dates after each end of the month, and basically the first window closes on the 30th of June. And afterwards we will evaluate what has been submitted so far, and then in each end of the month there will be another open window as long as we have funding available. So that's the limiting factor. That was all for the info. I'm sure this is a Q&A webinar. You have already read call guidelines. You might have brought some questions, so I'm happy to answer them right away. And I would request to maybe raise your hand and then quickly ask what you have in mind.